Laura, are you here?
I'm here.
I'm so glad. It was so weird last week doing this without
You
you.
did such a good job, though. You
Oh.
really did. I was absolutely laughing. You really did a good job. And I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. You've got nothing to apologise for. You needed that holiday. You absolutely, 100%, undoubtedly needed that holiday.
Yeah. Holiday. Yeah, I did need a holiday. I realised that, after a couple of days, and now on reflection, actually coming home, I really realised what peak burnout I was actually at.
Mm-hmm.
Because in my mind, I thought that burnout was just like when you have to literally throw the towel in and go, right, that's me done. And actually, it isn't. I saw a really good post by Louise, actually, and it was like the different stages of burnout.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it, and it was like, check, 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 check. It was just like absolutely being run by a motor from morning to night, feeling like I have to get these things done. I have to do this, and at the cost of all else, you know?
And I got a good glimpse into what it's like to be in that place going 100 miles an hour when you were away on holiday. And it was good because it was insightful to me just to see how much that you are doing, which is an incredible, not even an incredible amount of time, a ridiculous amount of work that you put into doing all the socials because, God, my little head could not cope with it all. I was like, I kept messing up here, there and everywhere. So
Not at all. So this is our first proper blether, just us, isn't it?
know.
For a little while. So yeah, let's do it.
Let's just get right in.
Let's get right in.
ADHD as females, ADHD AF, ADHD as females, the podcast.
Hi, I'm Dawn.
Hi, I'm Laura, and
we are ADHD AF.
Seriously. We are two neurodivergent neighbours who moved to the same street at the same time, at the same age, with the same undiagnosed disability. What are the chances?
Since discovering the enormous impact ADHD has had on our lives and the horrifying numbers of missing undiagnosed females, it has become our mission to make some serious noise.
We want to use our voices to raise awareness, break the stigma, and share our experiences in the hope that they help others.
So join us for a chat, or as it's called up here in Aberdeen, a blether.
Trigger warning, we will be covering some really sensitive topics, so please do have a read of the description of each episode before listening.
It's important to note that we are not medical professionals, we're not therapists or coaches, we're not qualified to offer advice or support. What we will do is share our experiences alongside resources and information from professionals. We will talk over each other and we will go off topic and forget the point mid-sentence.
We are both assigned female at birth, which means that we can only speak from the experience of life as AFAB people. However, ADHD AF is an inclusive space. Whatever your gender, you are very welcome here.
Yes, you are.
ADHD as females, ADHD AF.
So I guess it's first things first, we better address that bloody article.
The article in the room. not the elephant, the article in the room.
Article, anybody who hasn't seen it, there is a really disgusting article in The Guardian who you would have thought would know better and would do better than that. I literally don't even want to say his name because he's obviously, having looked at at some of the socials he's put up, he's obviously loving it. So the idea being that he's kind of being like the Katie Hopkins of ADHD or something, trying to get attention by being controversial.
Turns out he's got a book coming out soon. So.
Oh, well, there you go. So very sad to have fueled his fame in any way, but we just really felt we had to call it out. Our issue isn't with somebody who wants to get famous for being like that. Our issue is with The Guardian for being ableist, actually.
Yeah.
It's so disappointing, so disgusting. It's just not on.
That's it. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but his opinion's dangerous.
People can have opinions, but it's what you post, what you publish.
Yeah.
You know, you have a social responsibility. And I think the main issue, there's so many issues, but the main issue that we have is that you would not do this to any other group of disabled people. And it just goes to show how far we've got to go for people to realise and to respect ADHD as the debilitating brain disorder that it is.
Yeah.
Because they must not know that to be able to poke fun in that way, or to fuel the stereotypes about the medication and about the fact that it's a trend. You know, I don't see the value in what was done there. Like, what good was done? What was even the purpose apart from this guy's book?
Yeah.
He must be really good mates with the editor, I guess. Like, is that the point? I can't see another one.
It's just, yeah, like, have your opinion and put it out there.
On your own fucking platform. Sorry,
But exactly, on your own platform, to then put it to, you know, a big publication like The Guardian, and for them to then publish that.
To publish it and to fuel, you know, these ideas of people that it is a trend, that everyone's got it, that, you know, people are seeking drugs.
That it's easy. That it's easy to get a diagnosis, and that everybody and their neighbour has it.
Yeah, it's, I may not be a doctor, but, you know, the point being is that you're saying, like, oh, people shouldn't go around saying that people have ADHD, or saying that, oh, you know, self-diagnosis is valid. Self-diagnosis has to be valid because the system is broken and people are waiting for years, like our Dawny here, who is still waiting. You know, it's just wrong on every level. All the people that will feel invalidated and demoralised in their struggles, you're fueling family members that think it's a trend or whatever else, that they're too afraid to tell. Like, you are literally adding fuel to the fire and being part of the problem rather than part of the solution. And I just don't understand why. And that's part of my ADHD brain, is I need to understand the reasoning behind something. Yeah. And I cannot find a good one here at all.
The fact that he is self-admittedly ADHD himself, and it's almost like it's so new to him that he doesn't even fully understand it.
And I think it's also the you know, not whatever it was he said, not to invalidate anybody, but it's a bit like, you know, when you say I'm not against whatever, but like, you are. That's you've just, like,
by putting that
prerequisite
by putting
in
that
there, saying,
but in there,
well, you're already saying, so yeah, I'm just about to invalidate a load of people, but I've said I'm not, so that's okay, isn't it? No, it's not. So thank you to everybody who shared our open letter to The Guardian. And for tagging them, for writing to them. We have written official letters of complaint. We've tagged them in a load of stuff, and we've written to the editor-in-chief also. So we live in hope. We just really need to get to a place where ADHD is respected as the disability that it legally is.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, then life will be a lot better for everybody. It's
that's it. Like, I'm still trying to come to terms with, and still struggling in the fact that, you know, that I can't do certain things, and it's getting on top of me. Yeah. Like, I'm struggling. We're going to speak about this later in this episode, that I'm struggling a lot just now, and for someone to invalidate ADHD, it makes me feel like shit.
It makes everyone feel
because I'm like, well, maybe I am just shit at life. Yeah. Maybe I am just a shit person. If everyone else has got it, but they're managing to cope and meander through life easily, maybe I am just fucking shit.
And beyond that, for The Guardian to then publish that means that the message they are sending out is that it is okay to invalidate that. Mm-hmm. That's the real nail in the coffin there. It's
exactly.
Just like, no, this is not okay. It's not okay to be ableist, just as it's not okay to be racist. Mm-hmm. Like, level up and start behaving decently to people in general, but especially when these people are battling through life with brain disorders that have potentially ruined their lives in very many ways, destroyed their education, career, families, marriages, everything, that they're now trying to battle to get over all of this stuff, and you're just going to sweep along and just say it's a trend. It's absolutely irresponsible, and it's dangerous. Mm-hmm. It is dangerous. You know, we are more likely to commit suicide, have eating disorders, like
addictions.
It just goes on and on and on. Like, take some responsibility, educate yourselves, apologise, and if you would like a decent article written by decent people who actually care about the world, then give us a call and we'll gladly write something that isn't arrogant, ignorant, and fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
How about that?
Here.
And we'll dismount and take a breath. So anyway,
I'll get off that hobby horse.
that wasn't very fun to come home to off holiday.
No, it's like, I kind of felt bad for you, Laura, because like you got in, you come back off your holiday and you're just like kind of easing yourself in, and it's not really easing yourself in, it's like literally throwing yourself into the depths of it again, you know?
Yeah, but it is like this whole... It's something that we really do need to address, and I know we've said it many times in many different ways, but like we need to get on top of how we do things, because we both have ADHD. There are only two of us.
Yeah.
And we do struggle a lot. We want to do good. We can see the value in what we're doing. We have countless messages daily from all around the world from people telling us that we've helped them, feel validated in themselves, seek diagnosis, seek help in the workplace or at university, be able to speak to their parents, to their partners. Like, what we're doing has great value, and we know that. The problem is that with it getting bigger and bigger, the more and more messages are coming in, and that's kind of where I feel this pressure to constantly answer messages. And so we had that mess up with the last episode where we didn't record the intros and outros. I gave the wrong artwork for the thing, and the reel went wrong. And the crazy thing about that is I spent the entire week trying to get that right, trying to get everything done. And I just couldn't, but I couldn't have done more than I was doing. And the point being is I literally, at times, I wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning, I get my phone out and I start. And next thing you know, my husband's walked in the door and I make dinner, sit down and eat with him, pick up my phone. And 11 o'clock at night, he's like, put down your phone, for God's sake, go to bed.
Yeah.
That is what my days have been like. And I didn't realise quite the toll that was taking on me. And that's got to change. So... We're gonna
so we're looking at basically creating a community, something where we can direct you to the exact places that you need to go. If you want to ask us questions,
we can do it in a more personable way that we can actually manage it.
Because we're losing messages.
We lose messages all the time.
Like, it's really difficult, and I don't think Instagram makes it easy for us either. But like that's the platform that we use the most, and that's where people message us the most. And we're losing messages. We tried to put up an instant reply, which is great, but because that instant reply then just
replies it so it looks like it's not. Like it's been opened and it's done.
Yeah.
Anyway, like there's loads of stuff like that. But really what we want to do is to be able to, because a lot of people are just looking to share their story, or looking to tell us how it's helped them, or are asking quite a lot of the same questions. And actually, a lot of the time, it's just about connection and in being part of the community. And so we want to build our own, so that then we're not constantly answering loads of messages that we can never get through, that there aren't enough hours in the day to do, and we're letting people down, and I'm not getting important stuff done.
Exactly.
So we'll come back with that next week, but we're excited about it.
Yeah.
And it does mean that we can have a bit more structure to our days. I cannot burn out. People can actually feel connected, and
I think there's that pressure as well, as if when someone messages, it's that pressure of wanting to reply straight away, because if you don't reply straight away, you're going to miss it or you're going to forget about it. And so if we had a more structured thing,
system,
then we're not going to lose you. We're not going to forget about you.
And that's the thing, is it's important. And that's why it's a pressure. So it's not a whinge. Like, we've spent 27 episodes saying, message us, we love hearing from you. Because we do love hearing from you. And we want to help and we want to talk to you. But there are only two of us. And a lot of people have said, we'll help. But how it feels right for us right now is that it is ours. Like, what we're doing is just us. And we want to be able to put out what we're putting out and not put that on anybody else. So, we'll be back with news on that next week, but we're really excited about it because what we're hoping to do is free up enough time that we can actually do more stuff. We can do some body doubling stuff. We can do some more activism. We can arrange events. We can do stuff. At the moment, all we can do is answer messages and just about get the socials out.
We're firefighting.
Yeah.
We're just constantly firefighting, and if we get this into better control, start this community, then we can stop that. We can actually start doing more. We can put out the fires and find new fires to put out.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that. So the other thing that we wanted to talk about was where you are up to on the late diagnosis. Well, process and then rollercoaster.
Yeah, so a bit of both.
Yeah.
So where I am at the moment, so everybody that has listened so far will know that I was on the NHS waiting list. I had an appointment, thought I was getting my assessment, but that was only part 1 of God knows how many. And I'm now back on a waiting list for 4 months to get a diagnosis through the NHS. And again, I don't know if after that 4 months that will be the answers.
We don't know if that's part 2 of 2 or part 2 of 8.
Yeah. I don't know this at the moment. So I've been forced into a place where I feel like if I want answers now and I want help and support now, that I really have to go down the private route. It's not the way I wanted to go down, and it's not something that I can easily afford. So it was kind of like last hope kind of thing to do this.
You spoke to your doctor, didn't you? And, and just literally said, look, I cannot cope.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do?
So fortunately, what's happened is my doctor agreed to do shared care with a local psychiatrist who is approved at my doctor's surgery, which means if I go to them, get my diagnosis through them, she will accept that shared care and I can get my medication and titration started through this means.
Which is amazing, because it means once you've got your diagnosis, you don't then have another battle on your hands.
Exactly.
Yeah, because mine was disputed.
The best part, there's some fun still to come, is that I got that referral put through. I waited a week, chased them up, and turned out the psychiatrist was on holiday, so I had to wait till they were back, which is fine. Then I phoned them again when he was back, got through to their Glasgow clinic, because it goes straight through there first and then you have to go through to Aberdeen. Anyway, got through the Glasgow clinic. Whoever I spoke to on the phone, she didn't understand that I was Aberdeen, even though I told her. And she told me that they were no longer doing ADHD assessments. So I was absolutely devastated, being like, I'm back to square one again, only to receive a phone call the following day or the day after, doesn't matter, saying, oh, we've got an appointment date for you. So, oh my God, talk about a roller coaster ride. Actual roller coaster ride. So I thought I was back to square one. Turns out I'm not. They're still doing them in Aberdeen. It's just that they weren't doing them through that clinic in Glasgow anymore or whatever. I'm not sure the ins and outs there. But I have a date for an appointment with a private psychiatrist on the 14th of November.
So that is a week tomorrow.
Which is a week tomorrow. We're Sunday at the moment, but this will come out on Tuesday. So it'll be less than a week when this comes out.
So by the time, not this episode, but the next episode comes out, you will be diagnosed.
Hopefully. I say hopefully because I've learnt my lesson in getting my hopes up and thinking I'm having an assessment. I have an appointment with a psychiatrist for our...
Which, to your knowledge, is an assessment.
Which is my initial assessment, but as far as I'm aware, that's my assessment date.
Yeah. And
it's 8 p.m. at night, so it's quite a late one, but I was like, I don't care what time it is. Like, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll still do it, you know?
That's amazing. The thing is, I mean, it's difficult. Like, I just want to say on your behalf, like, Dawn really didn't want to go private, and she does have some, like, guilt about it.
Oh, absolutely.
She really, really shouldn't, because...
It's
real, genuine struggle. Like, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
Like, she's really, really struggling, and it's taking its toll, and it's time now. And it's great that she's finally got to this place that she's going to see somebody. So it's so great to all of you that have donated towards it, because obviously going private is a bit spenny.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are in a position where you would like to donate to Dawn's diagnosis, that would be very, very much appreciated.
Yeah, and you can do that through Buy Me a Coffee. So if you go to buymeacoffee.com/ADHD females, you can buy us a coffee and you can donate. Obviously, I'm massively appreciative. Is that even how you say
Yeah,
it?
appreciative.
Of any help that anyone can offer. Going private, it wasn't something I wanted to do. I wanted to be the voice of everyone that had to go through the diagnosis process
explain
with
it,
the
yeah.
with the NHS, because I have this platform, because I'm able to do so. I wanted to be that person, but I can't wait any longer because it's having a massive detrimental effect on my mental health.
It
And
really
so it's either get this diagnosis now or just, pits of despair. So
Yeah. And with that in mind, that is where you're up to on the late ADHD diagnosis roller coaster.
yeah, I'm definitely in a depressive phase at the moment.
Yeah.
Just I'm like, part of me is just thinking, like I'm not even excited about this assessment.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I guess you shouldn't be excited about getting a
No,
diagnosis
but
for
it's
anything.
the end of limbo.
yeah,
and
but before I
getting help.
was kind of looking forward to getting to that point, to get into that next stage. But at the moment, I'm just like, meh.
And I
like,
think
what-
that, go on, sorry.
Yeah, I'm just a bit like, meh, what's going to happen? I'm going to get a diagnosis, something I already know. I may or may not get medication that may or may not help me. Like, nothing's going to change. My life's always just going to be a little bit shit. And that's kind of where I am, which sounds fucking ridiculous. Like, even when I say it, I'm just like, stop being so horrible to yourself.
No,
But that's where I'm at. That's the reality of it.
I think that's when we were talking about it before, which is why it was really important to talk about it on this, is like this idea of what depression is. And like that's actually my understanding of depression, is not necessarily the not being able to get out of bed, not being able to go to work, not being able, all of that can happen. But like the baseline depression that I know about is when the things that are important to you, the things that bring you joy, they just don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
And that's something that I still really struggle with. Like I made a joke in the episode with the ADHD babes where it was like, well, this has got to be depression, right? Because I can't get any more depressed.
Yeah.
And like I say it in a joking way, but like it's true. And I don't sit around being depressed, in inverted commas all the time, but I can very quickly lose the point. And that sounds so awful, but I think it is important to talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
just a bit like, what's the point?
Yeah.
And it's weird because I have lots of lovely things in my life. I have you, and we do this amazing thing, and we're making people, well, not necessarily making them happy, but we're helping. And, I've got so many good things in my life to be grateful for. But I can very quickly just feel a bit like, what's the point? What's the point in my life? What's the point in anything? And I think that in part of that comes from the not knowing about ADHD, is looking at other people, this constant feeling of like outside looking in, and not really understanding why they're doing the things that they're doing. And stupid example, driving a car.
Yeah.
I've got a fear of that, and I will watch people in awe of them, like, oh right, so we're just going to take our lives into our hands, are we? We're doing this, are we? Fine. We're just going to trust that other person isn't going to drive into you. Fine, that's normal. And I'm looking at everyone else like they're crazy, but obviously when you're looking at everyone else like they're crazy, it doesn't last.
No.
You're the weird one, right? And so I think there's an element of that. And just seeing, the various relationships in my life that have been swept away by that wrecking ball of ADHD, or, the path that my life has taken, which there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not conventional, you can sort of start to go a bit, what's the pointy?
Yeah.
So when you were talking to me then before about it, and I was like, yep. Yeah, what's the point? I was like, I'm literally the worst person, to offer support in a time of depression, because I'll just hop right on that train with you.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
But yeah, just like been looking around at everything that's going on in my life and just like taking into stock everything that's there. And I'm just like looking at my house and it's a fucking shithole. And I'm like, why can't you just get on top of it? Looking at my diet, like my self-care, and I'm just like, why can't you just get on top of it? Looking at like
I have the why.
Yeah.
You have a brain disorder.
But then looking at like you being away on holiday and me having to do all the stuff when you were away, I'm just like, I can't even do this. I'm like I'm just feeling like really woe is me kind of thing. Like, just like, why just can't I do things? And then it kind of got me thinking more, and it's like, well, people say you just need to accept things, and once you accept things, you'll be happier. But I'm like, but I can't accept it because if I accept it, then I'm just accepting that I'm always going to be unhappy. That's kind of how I feel. I'm just like, I can't accept that I'm living in a mess, because that mess makes me unhappy. It makes me unproductive. I'm not able to do anything when I'm in that mess. So like, if I accept it, am I just accepting that I'm going to be unproductive? I'm just not going to be able to get anything done. And like, struggling at uni and stuff as well, falling behind. I've had to, like, email my lecturer and just say that I'm struggling. I've got an appointment with the inclusions team and a mentor and stuff next week, which is happening, which is good, because I'm doing things. I am doing things. I'm not just letting this completely engulf me and take over.
All the right things.
But
that's what that support is there for.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's there for, is because you need support because you have a brain disorder. And that's why all of these things are happening, and that's the struggle. And I guess, although I totally hear what you're saying about the acceptance, like, well, why would I accept that I'm living in squalor, in inverted commas? Like, the point is this magical land of acceptance that some people are in with ADHD, like Louise Pink Pear Bear, like, when you get to the acceptance of that, because if we're still questioning, why is it like this, why is it like that, it's not fully accepting that we have ADHD. And hopefully we're going to get to that magical land one day, Dawn.
Well, fingers crossed. But this is the thing, it's like, I can't see that.
No, I
can't
know.
see that magical land just now. And the irony as well at uni is, like, I've got support there if I need it. And I've needed it for a while.
But you haven't done it.
And I haven't gone and reached out. Again, procrastination, ADHD. And so, like, I haven't reached out until now, until things are reaching crisis point. And it's every aspect of my life is like, I don't do anything until it's crisis point. I don't get out of bed. And when I say crisis point, I don't mean like, you know,
like crunch time.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly that. Crunch time. It's like getting out of bed in the morning. Only get up when it's crunch time, when I'm out of time.
Yeah, gotta run.
It's like eating properly and stuff, or taking control of, like, you know, my diet and that. It's only when I'm starting to feel really, you know, unwell or like fatigued or whatever, I'm just like, right, now it's crunch time to do something about it. Like, I just long to be at a place where it doesn't have to be crunch time for me to take action.
I have two things to say about that. First of all, is everything that you are talking about is a symptom of ADHD. So it doesn't take away the frustration in knowing that, but it does take away the self-flagellation. Do I mean self-flagellation? I think I do.
Yeah.
I just suddenly thought about it, I was like, that. No. It can take away that, which in itself will make you feel less bad in yourself, you know, bit by bit. But like, I think on top of that, all of these symptoms are, okay, I'll backtrack, not necessarily, but statistics show that a lot of these symptoms are greatly improved with medication. And if you pair medication with, say, ADHD coaching, then it's not like you hack it. And that's the sad part. That's the sad part that I really, really get, is just like, I spent all of my life thinking, oh, you know, I am this way, or I feel bad, or I'm always upset, or I'm always angry, whatever, because of this trauma, or because of this thing in front of me. And if I get this done, then I'll be better. And you're reaching and you're searching for this time when life is going to be better. So the tragedy is that I'm never going to get there, because all of those problems that I thought it wasn't ever them. It's actually this other thing that I am actually going to have for the rest of my life. So that's the sad part. But then when you get the treatment, and whatever treatment works for you, medication might be coaching, therapy, CBT, whatever it is, that when you start to have that treatment, then you will be able to cope better with your life. So it's not accepting that your house is always going to be messy. It's hacking that and feeling more motivated. Potentially, for example, me with the LVANs, like, I have motivation to do things, because it wasn't necessarily a lethargicness. It was a fog, like almost like and not being able to prioritize things. I'd sit and think, well, I do it in this order or that order, and waste time that I could just be doing the thing, thinking about what bloody order I'm going to do it in. Yeah. Or feeling so worried about something else, or all of these like feelings or things that held me back. That's what the medication does. It just takes it away a little bit. And so then you're just like, I'm just going to go and do this now. Yeah. You know, and I think that's what's been strange with the strange dynamic with us, is you've seen me as this really like proactive person that does shit. Mate. Yeah. Really wasn't. Didn't didn't get off the sofa, didn't want to get out of bed, didn't move from my bed, didn't, literally just wallowed around feeling like an absolute worthless waste of space for forever. It is medication, and medication has worked for me, and I believe it will work for you. And if whatever medication they put you on doesn't work, then you try another one, or you just figure out your ways to cope and hack. It is going to get better, is what I'm saying.
I think the problem is that obviously I've been stuck in this limbo place for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of time to like kind of deal with, like, I guess to a point, like my ADHD symptoms probably seem a lot worse than they did before.
Because you're aware of them.
Because I'm aware of them. Whereas in the past, it was just me that was shit. And it was almost like that was easier to accept.
Yes.
It was easier to accept that I was just shit at life and that in a way, not knowing that there was ADHD kind of helped motivate me, because thinking that I was shit, I had to prove myself that I wasn't shit. Overcompensation, exactly. Yeah. So I was able to do things not necessarily well, and I wasn't able to necessarily stick to things, but I was able to at least get going with certain things. Yeah. Whereas I just feel like I can't now, and it's just like I'm just like properly stuck, and the longer it goes on, the longer like it gets into my head and gets deeper into my head and fucks me up like more, and then I get to the point where I'm just like, well, nothing's gonna help, and like I guess feeling a bit like a lost cause essentially. Yeah. And so like it's gonna be great. I say it's gonna be great, but like with no expression on my face. When I get to the point of my diagnosis privately, and I begin treatment and stuff, things will change. But I'm just at a place now where I'm just like, meh. Yeah. I'll see it when it happens. Yeah. Because before I was really hopeful about medication. Yeah, you were. Yeah. And I was pinning. I probably too hopeful, to be honest. Yeah. I was pinning all of my hopes and dreams on meds helping and doing like this miracle cure kind of thing. Whereas now, obviously, I'm a lot better educated and know that they're not the miracle cure, but I'm now at the point where I'm just like, well, are they even going to help at all?
Yes, they will. Yes, they will.
But yeah, I'm just and that's the other thing is like when like I think Shauna spoke on the ADHD episode last week. She was saying that she doesn't even realise that she's depressed until she's like, right into it. And I think that's a little bit, but like myself is like, I just get on with things and don't really realise, don't take stock of my feelings and emotions until I'm in a really shitty place. Yeah. Which is where I am just now.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It will get better.
Yeah. And I'm sure it will. Like, the one thing that I have going for myself is that I do have a positive outlook.
Yes, you do.
I'm an optimist. Yeah. Like, and I don't know if that'll ever change. Like, there's always that glimmer of hope that lives inside of me. And so, like, I'm not sitting here being like, oh, like, woe is me and nothing's ever going to change. Like, there is still a glimmer of hope, and it's always going to stay there. So, yeah, I'm not all
gloom and doom.
Gloom and doom, yeah. I'm not all gloom and doom.
I'm mostly gloom and doom. I just don't sound like it, but I am. No, I'm not. I
am. You are.
I am, yeah. It's weird though. I do have really nice times, and I am like a happy person. Yeah. But I think I just am very jaded by the world, and I'm hopeful at some point I will. But you know what? At least it fuels this fire. Yeah. Then that's the good. And I think that's how I feel about it, is when I feel a bit like despairy, I'm like, well, I want to leave this cesspit of a world better than I found it. Like, that's the point, Laura. Yeah. That's the point. That's what you're going to do with your life.
It's it's the other thing as well. Like, I'll look around and I'll see people, and you see people that maybe don't have a lot in life. Yeah. And they're happy. Yes. And they're happy with what they have. And I think part of my problem is, and it's not that I want things. It's not material things that I want. No. I want to achieve and do well, and like I have hopes and dreams and aspirations and whatnot. And I'm like, am I ever going to be happy? Like, can I just accept things for how they are? And again, it's like you say, it's like getting to acceptance.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I did read a thing, as ever, I can't remember, about a thing called like, oh God, I can't remember what it's called, but it's something like destination unknown.
Destination unknown.
But it's basically, I don't know if they were saying it was specifically an ADHD symptom, but when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's what it is. It's like the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. So you're always thinking that the next thing will be the thing. And so you're never quite satisfied with your lot. And I can definitely recognize that in myself. It does make me really sad sometimes. And I think, well, God, I'll never be happy. That's really awful. But on the other hand, that little bastard has opened so many doors for me, because I have done so many ridiculous things, and I will continue to do so many ridiculous things in my life because I'm always searching for that thing, and because nothing's ever quite enough. Now I'm going to go and do this, and now I'm going to do that, and now I'm going to do that, has actually meant that I've done shitloads of cool stuff. Yeah. And so there's a positive there.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
And there are positives, but yeah, I get annoyed with myself for having these, setting these values so high and setting these aspirations and dreams for myself, because I'm like, well, maybe I'm just not going to reach them, and then I'm going to feel like crap because I want them, but I can't have them.
Yeah.
I feel like a brat. I feel like I'm just want, but I want it all to come to me and for me not to do anything to get it. But it's not how I feel.
Yeah, you feel like you have the drive and you want to achieve, but then
I can't.
But you can and you will.
And that's the most frustrating part. It's I want these things and I can't get them, but I know I'm capable of getting them.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Honestly, I just think in some of the many messages that we are able to actually respond to, and people say they've just got diagnosed, we congratulate them, don't we? And we say, this is a new chapter of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Your life is about to change. Your life is about to get better. And that's true for you, Donnie. It really is. I'm literally a different person than I was this time last year. Literally, I am. And I've still got shit going on, but things are better.
Yeah.
And I really believe that by this time next year, things will be better again. And that's what's coming for you now. It's just been on a bit of a downward trajectory for a while now, in how you feel in yourself, not in what you've done in your life.
Yeah.
Uni, we're doing this for Christ's sake, but in how you feel in yourself is about to get better now.
I think it probably doesn't help that I'm turning 40 next year.
Oh, I don't care about that.
Yeah, I know I shouldn't. And I've never been that bothered by age and stuff. But I think part of it is this just I want things to get better now so that I can reach the goals and do the things that I want to do before it's too late.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I feel this is something we're going to touch on in another episode. I've lost a couple of friends, and one of my friends is really, really ill. So I think it really reframes the way I look at age now, because I'm like, bloody hell, I'm lucky to get to 40.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Bloody hell.
And that's it. And you don't know when your number's up.
No.
And that's what I mean. It's just the older you get, the closer you are to... without sounding like a really sad doom and gloom, but I want to do things, and I want to do things now.
Well, you will. You just got to get a week tomorrow,
and that's why waiting is so hard.
Yeah, that's very, very true.
That's what makes it hard. It's just and that's why I need answers and why I need help now, so that I can go and do the things now that I want to do.
Yeah. And that's why we need change in the system, because nobody should have to put their lives on hold like
exactly.
that. Nobody, especially when we know that a lot of people that are finding out about ADHD have been through, say, their child's getting diagnosed, or have been because they're going through perimenopause or menopause, so they're getting this, wave, new whatever, I don't have the terminology, of hormones that's now making their ADHD symptoms worse and bringing it to the forefront. Some people thinking they've got early onset dementia or whatever just such extreme menopausal reactions, and these are the people that you're then going to say, oh right, yeah, you have got that, but you need to wait 6 years. It can't be like that, and that's again why we do what we're doing. It's not, we're not saying we have the answers.
I don't have the answers.
Definitely don't have the answers, but we need to keep this conversation going, because change has to happen. People are really suffering, really, really suffering.
And the thing is, I'm still one of the lucky ones.
Yeah. Oh, good, yeah.
I am, even without having to go private, I'm still one of the lucky ones.
If you waited another 4 months, you'd still be one of the lucky ones.
Most women
will not be diagnosed in their lifetime.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Never mind the ones that are having to wait 6 years or really fight their case because they're being told, well, you don't have ADHD because you can hold down a job, or you have never been to prison, or do you know what I mean? Like, people that are having to fight.
And it might be, an, in inverted commas, a trend right now. But once we get over that hill and people get their diagnosis, and then we start diagnosing people from an earlier age, there's never going to be this influx again.
The problem, that's the point. And the problem is with this bloody trend thing, and why the Guardian shouldn't have done that is because, yes, it's trending in the sense that people are more aware of it. So that's why it's a word that is being heard more, because it's something that people have just suffered with in silence or without knowing. You know, here we are both nearly 40. We only found out last year about it. Like, that doesn't make it a trend. But when you enter into that rhetoric, when you spout out more of that bullshit and fuel that fire for the people that believe it is a trend, you are now, you know, creating more of that brick wall that we're up against.
Invalidating it as an actual brain disorder, as an actual disability.
Honestly, there will come a day when we will look back at this and just be so shocked and horrified. Like, not that we're not shocked and horrified now, but like in disbelief.
Yeah.
In disbelief.
That we even had to fight this.
That
we even had to fight this hard for an actual disability, a brain disorder, to be recognised for what it actually is.
It's absolutely criminal. I cry now. That's awful, isn't it? When you really think back at it, it's like, oh my God, we'll look back at it and be like, can you believe that even happened?
But we'll keep fighting for this.
Until that day.
Yeah, until that day, we'll keep fighting for this and fighting for all of you people that can't get a diagnosis and that are struggling. And
and just to bring us all together, we have to stick together. And that is the one good thing. Dr. Alex Connor said that the other day, didn't he? That's the one good thing to come out of this horrible Guardian thing, is it shows how much the community are prepared to stick together and to fight. And to unite.
That genuinely fills me with emotions.
Yeah.
Just seeing this community come together the way it has over the last couple of days is just like... But I say that, but like, you know, I'm emotional ice queen, so I don't actually show them, but I feel it. I feel the emotions.
Tell me, Dom, what's the most ADHD thing you've done this week?
Oh God. So in part of my depressive period, I was thinking that, you know, I need to do something. I need to sort out, like, my diet and lifestyle, everything. Like, I'm not eating properly. Like, I'm takeaways, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And I need to sort it out. So I was like, right, I need to find a convenient meal plan, something that can help me eat healthy, nutritious meals.
Without having to think about it too much.
Without having to think about it too much. I just need someone to tell me what to eat, when to eat it, and, you know, like where to get it, and then just go for it. Convenience. That's what I need at the moment, because because
it's too fucking convenient to press just eat.
Yeah, exactly. I need something, and there's no healthy options on Just Eat. Like, if there was, then I'd maybe. Nah, who am I kidding?
I mean, I'm sure there are a couple.
I'm just like, maybe if there was some healthier options, I'd order a baked potato. And I'm like, who am I kidding? Give me a KFC. Now I want one. Stop. Anyway, so I signed up to an app online that it's to do with fasting, and I thought, maybe I could try that, because I fast half the time anyway when I forget to eat. So maybe if I actually give myself some structure and
do the intermittent.
Yeah. So I signed up to this thing, and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't sign up. I should sign up. So I signed up for a trial, like a couple of weeks trial. And I was like, I'll give it a trial. And then they sent me something else through and said, oh, you could sign up. You'll get this discount and this discount. So I signed up to that, not realizing that this was more money. And then I signed up to something else with it, which was premium, thinking that this was just one charge that I was getting, and the other charges before that didn't exist. And they were like, but if you sign up to this, you don't have to pay for what you've previously paid. And I completely misunderstood the whole thing. So I was just signing up and paying stuff left, right and centre. So I had like a 46 quid charge, a £32 charge, a 10 quid charge, and all of a sudden all these charges started coming out of my account, which for one I can't afford at the moment. I should not be spending money on this thing. It's like I'm not in a good financial shape just now. And so I signed up to this app, and I've paid a ridiculous amount of money for something that I've not even looked at since I've downloaded it.
Have you not?
No, and I don't even think it's what I want. It's about like...
Well, you don't know because you haven't looked.
Got a point. But I just wanted someone to tell me what to eat and when, and this is not what it's doing. So I've then sent them an email being like, according to because they wouldn't give me a refund. They were just like, oh, it's too late now, you can't get a refund. But I was like, no. I know my rights as a consumer. So I'd like copied and pasted something from Google. According to the Consumer Rights Act 1997 or whatever it is, like 14 days grace period, you need to give me a refund. Blah, 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 blah. So I sent them an email and they've refunded me some of it anyway.
Yeah.
Not at all, but the biggest charge. And just impulsiveness made me join the ADHD tax collective.
Yeah, absolutely.
What about you, Laura?
Mine is, well, aside from all of the things that I didn't get done and causing calamity, which made me feel terrible. And I still just don't understand how I did that. But in part, as we said, too many messages, and also time blindness, taking on too much, thinking I can do so many things a day when you can't. That aside, went on holiday, got there, had a lovely old time. It was lovely to see the Ibiza family and be in the sunshine and just actually hang out with my husband, who I've been ignoring basically since we started ADHD. And
We're big.
And we I had like a couple of really, really lovely days. And then by about the third or fourth day, I started to feel guilty. And my guilt was that, well, what it's made me realise is that it doesn't matter how many memes you see of like, your productivity does not mean your self-worth. Like, you don't have to be productive to, you're fine as you are. Apparently I'm not. So what I've realized is that I've spent so much time since being out of the fog with the medication. I have applied myself every which way, every single hour of the day, and I've achieved things, and I've done things, and I've been productive. And apparently that's now my whole purpose of being and the whole basis of my self-worth. So after 3 or 4 days of, having a lovely old time in the sunshine, I then sort of started to feel like I didn't deserve it. And that like...
This is where I'm metaphorically slapping her across the face to be like, you do deserve it.
Isn't it terrible? But, what it has taught me, alongside all the burnout stuff, is that now that I'm home, and we're getting our heads together about how to restructure things better, is to just not go back into burnout and to not, I even had people messaging, so like, Beck, who does the working class message, and she was like, you're working really hard, or are you going to burn out? And I was just like, I live in burnout. It's fine. It's like to actually step out of it, to come home and wake up and just like, wake up, have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like, that just was not happening at all. So now my mission is that I'm going to wake up and I'm going to do me first, and then I'll dive into my phone. Whereas for months and months, it's been open my eyes, grab my phone, dive into it, bang, and just try and like just be in myself a bit more and be in my life a bit more.
Self-care.
Yeah. Not work all night, put my phone down. So yeah. Self-care, structure a routine that works better for you so that you can look after yourself. Yes. And not spend all of your time and effort looking after everyone else. Yes. That is the plan.
You first.
Tomorrow.
Yes. Good.
Yeah. We've both got good big plans for tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll let you know next week.
I need to stop getting disheartened about the big plans that I have before I've even tried to put the big plans that I have into place. Because I think that's part of my problem. Is just like I already have failed before I've even begun.
Yes, yeah.
And so it's about trying to be like, well, no, you're going to do it. And if you don't do it, you're going to try again.
Yeah, exactly. Step by step. So that really, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
It was nice to be back together.
It's really nice to be back together. It really, really is. It's nice to be diving in. A little bit scary to dive straight back into that, but we've done it. So thank you for supporting us, and we will report back on that. As ever, we are just so grateful. We're so grateful for you to all of you for listening to us, for following us, and for supporting us. We're really super grateful.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we care about the cause, and this isn't just about us. This is about you predominantly. Like, we realize that, you know, by helping ourselves help you guys, that it's just helping this wider community of people, and that's what we're here for. We want change. We want to make things easier for everyone. Like, we're living this real time with you. So yeah,
we will fight for change. We will continue to fight for change, and with your support and with us all uniting, we will get change. So let's keep on keeping on. If you've enjoyed this episode, we would really, really appreciate a donation, as we said, for Dawn's diagnosis.
Yeah.
And we will come back to you next week about our community.
Yeah.
And thank you to people who've joined up as like membership of the
Buy Me a Coffee.
Buy Me a Coffee.
So you can go on to Buy Me a Coffee. So it's buymeacoffee.com/ADHD as females. And from there you can buy us a coffee. It's the equivalent of £5. Or you can buy us 1,000,000 coffees if you so wish. This podcast doesn't come without costs, both financially and emotionally. So
it's all right. Only 18 hours of every day.
Yeah, we put a lot of time, blood, sweat and tears into this, and there's obviously outgoings behind the scenes as well. And on top of that, there are more outgoings that, you know, we'd like to
implement.
We'd like to implement to put in to help take the pressure off.
Yeah.
So you can help us by donating a coffee or two. And if you want to give us a regular ongoing support, you can sign up on Buy Me a Coffee at £2 a month as well. That just means that you know, as a you can be a regular supporter, and it's £2 a month, you know.
So we really, really appreciate it.
Yeah. And what else? If you can't or you don't have the ability to donate financially, then there are other ways that you can help by promoting us, by
sharing any of our content on your stories, sharing our podcast with friends or family, by liking, commenting, saving our social media posts, and by hitting those stars. If you're on Spotify, we would love you for doing that. And on Apple, you can even write a little review, which are always lovely to read.
They are lovely to read. Like, we love reading the reviews.
We've had some really lovely feedback about our merchandise. We obviously decided to go down the independent route because it's close to our heart. So rather than going for a big company, we've gone to independent makers. We have Stephanie at All the Discos and Rebecca at Working Class Jewellery, and they're both legends who make beautiful things, and we are very honoured that they've made merchandise for our podcast.
Yeah, and watch this space, because this week we have some more merchandise away to drop. So watch this space.
If you buy any of our merchandise, you are supporting independent makers and helping us as well. So we really, really appreciate it. And you get something sparkly and amazing and handmade too.
Exactly.
Win-win.
And it just helps, get that place within the community.
Yeah.
Be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not what I was trying to say, but I'm like totally lost for words.
Somebody actually messaged and said that they loved the dopamine collection in particular because it was almost like a subtle in. This is saying, I have ADHD or this is what I'm about without actually having ADHD stamped on you. It's like dopamine club,
Although we're probably going to get something stamped on us permanently.
We are!
We've spoke about this for a while, but we've been looking at getting a tattoo. We wanted to get a tattoo to mark 100K downloads. We're now on 165 downloads globally in 151 countries.
Yeah.
World domination, baby.
So it's definitely tattoo time. So we will report back about that. Hopefully this week. Maybe we can get in somewhere.
Potentially this week.
Yeah.
Watch.
This is how excited we are. You'd never know how depressed we are, would you? It's great. Masking.
This is all I need though, is these little pick-me-ups. Like, these
Yeah.
things help me. Like, these little hits of dopamine keep me going.
Yeah, we've got a good molecule between us now.
Yeah. And I'm so freaking glad to have you back.
Yay! I'm so happy to be back. We should stop talking now, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Big love to you all.
Much love.
And we appreciate the coffees.
Bye.
ADHD as females, ADHD AF, ADHD as females.